Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode, we will complete the preliminary round of our Antweight Armageddon tournament, and determine our final 8 bots that will have to fight for survival in the redemption round. And we're underway with fight number 1 of Antweight Armageddon episode 2 here. We start off, we got 2 big dangerous spinners and Oops, which is a wedge bot designed to basically counteract spinners. So we'll see how well it does with 2 big ones here. Oh, as both big spinners have a massive collision there. It looks like, they can both still spin. It looks like they're both flipped over though. They're both probably being counted out. It looks like Fatman has been counted out, I believe. And I think that's Explosivo is being told it can continue, so not being ruled as KO'd just yet. Maybe they're still being counted. There's another hit. We'll see how it works out for Oops here. Seems like the fight is going on. The judges have ruled that Explosivo is not KO'd. Nice little hit there. No real damage done to Oops yet. Ooh, as Explosivo loses its weapon bar on that hit. Now Oops is going to be able to push it around as much as it wants. But it seems like Explosivo is actually being counted out. It seems like they're actually less mobile without the weapon bar, so they may actually end up being counted out here. So we check on Fatman, still KO'd in the corner. And yep, that's going to be it. That's a KO win for Oops, KOing both Fatman and Explosivo. Oops moves on to the round of 16, Fatman and Explosivo move into the redemption round. And we're underway with fight number 2 now. We have 3 pretty cool bots. Stratos placed top 3 in SBC 2019. That was a really good tournament for Astro Robotics, both their Antweight entries making 2nd and 3rd respectively. So 2 podium slots. Stratos has been rebuilt. It's a bit stronger than it used to be, so we'll see how it does here. Yep, it's a gun, is actually a gun. It does fire a projectile, which can deal some pretty big damage. Assuming it can line up a good shot onto its opponents. But it's going to be waiting for a perfect opportunity, and that's a big flip from Stratos onto Bullrust. Really nice job there. Bullrust having to self-ride over in the corner. I believe this is only the 2nd or 3rd tournament for Bullrust's team. They don't participate in a lot of tournaments. But they do make some very sturdy bots. Stratos gets a big flip onto Yep, it's a gun, which tries to fire to keep itself in the arena, but it couldn't as it gets ooted by Stratos. Bullrust getting on the inside track there. Really good from Bullrust. Keeping away from the flipper of Stratos. Manages to avoid the flip there and stay underneath. Very good driving from Bullrust. Keeping behind that side wedge of Stratos and away from the flipper. That's what they're going to need to do, but Stratos gets under there and it's a big flip. They get a lot of height on these flips, but they haven't really, well, I guess they threw, yep, it's a gun out, but they haven't thrown Bullrust too far off course yet. They tend to just throw it straight up, but very high. Could cause a wheel to fall off if it lands right on one of those wheels though. Stratos gets under again, nice little flip there. Perhaps not as powerful as they were hoping for, but that's alright. Another nice little flip there, but they kind of flipped themselves worse than they flipped Bullrust there, honestly. Bullrust really trying to get in behind those wedges on Stratos. You can see both bots bumping against the floor a little bit. Could be due to how low their wedges are. could also be an issue with the wheels, perhaps. Oh, Bullrust with some really nice control, getting Stratos on top of themselves there. And they're keeping the pressure on, and that's a nice little flip from Bullrust, just using the torque of the drive to get Stratos over. That was another big flip from Stratos. This has been a very solid driving match so far, by two teams that are frankly known for being pretty good at driving. As like one of their main things. I believe Ad Astra Robotics have been nominated a few times for the Best Driver Award. I don't believe Team EnduroBot have been, but they are still pretty damn good. Definitely more known in the test box than they are in the tournament circuit in Besiege bots. So we come down to the last 30 seconds. Bullrust has been doing a good job of avoiding that flipper so far in this dying stages of the match. That was nice. Bullrust has Stratos near the pit. Stratos gonna need to be careful. As they get bumped closer to the pit. They're getting stuck over in the red corner. Some good control to end out the match for Bullrust. This could be a close one. We'll see how the judges saw it. Aggression and control go to Bullrust, but the damage goes heavily to Stratos for Udering Yepet's a gun, and the style just gets them over the line. So Stratos will be moving on to the top 16, and Bullrust and Yepet's a gun will have to fight in the redemption round. We're underway with fight number 3 here. We have 3 pretty good flippers. We have Penumbra from Frogment Robotics, a perennial best driver contender. Were nominated, I believe, for Spring Bash Cup for their performance with Dippy. We have Wheelie Smol Cheese, obviously if you're a fan of Robot Wars, based on Really Big Cheese, or Wheelie Big Cheese, sorry. Then we got Sheriff over in the corner trying to self-right there as it flings itself off the wall. From Team Questionable Engineering, who are a pretty solid team that always performs pretty well whenever they enter tournaments. They've been generally quite good. They've got a winch-style flipper, while Penumbra, I believe, is just it might be a pneumatic or a steering hinge. I believe it's a pneumatic. I can see a pneumatic under there. Yeah, it's a pneumatic flipper. And Wheelie Smol Cheese is a steering hinge style flipper. Ooh, Sheriff was over near the pit, but couldn't flip it in. Actually, it might be a steering block flipper. It's basically the same as a steering hinge, but I think it's a little bit fun. No, it's a hinge. It's a hinge. I can see the hinge there. So far, pretty good fight. I'd say Wheelie Smol Cheese has had the advantage so far, as Penumbra gets a nice little lift in. Their flipper seems a little bit undertuned, if I'm honest, on Penumbra. Really seems like more of a lifter. Ooh, that was a huge flip from Sheriff, though, I believe. Sheriff can definitely fling a bot very far. Well, Wheelie Smol Cheese. Ooh, as Sheriff hits Penumbra there. That was a good little move from Sheriff. Almost got 2 for 1, but Wheelie Smol Cheese managed to kind of tip away from the pit. Nice flip attempt from Sheriff. They've really got to get onto that back segment of Wheelie Smol Cheese, or they're going to have trouble flipping them. Oh, that was good. Almost got them near the pit, but just not quite. Another good throw there from Sheriff. Wheelie Smol Cheese really having some trouble getting back over and finding its space, but there's a nice flip. And they're getting under now, and they juggle Sheriff into the air, and they're back under again. Another flip. And there's another one. I think that's like 4 flips in a row for them. Not the strongest one there, because Sheriff was kind of falling over them. The only problem with Wheelie Smol Cheese is it kind of throws bots behind itself, so it's very hard for it to line up at pit correctly. Because if the bot is too far forward on the blades, it's not going to get flipped enough to really go into the pit. But they bounce Sheriff off the wall there. They're really in control right now. They've been in control for a while now. Oh, they are wheeling a little bit, and Sheriff starts to take control. Sheriff's still underneath. They're trying to get to that back segment, which they can flip much easier. They got some good height on that one. Oh, Wheelie Small Cheese rides up the blade of Sheriff. Sheriff managing to get some good flips in toward the end here, but Wheelie Small Cheese goes for a flip while they were upside down. They can get even more power when they do it like that, actually. Oh, they kind of lined them up for the pit there. Oh, but they ride up that back wedge of Sheriff. That's unfortunate. That could have been a good late pit KO. We'll see how it goes down the stretch. A nice flip there from Wheelie Small Cheese. Another nice flip from Sheriff. We'll see how the judges saw that. It was a close fight. The damage might edge it to Sheriff, but it doesn't. Wheelie Small Cheese takes it on style, control, and aggression. That's a bit surprising. I think Sheriff maybe should have won that decision, but alas, Wheelie Small Cheese moves into the round of 16, while Penumbra and Sheriff go into the redemption round. Here we go with the final fight of episode 2 as Uruk goes for a nice hit on Slant there. Slant gets a nice flip onto Plaguebearer. That was some power in that lifter flipper design of Slant. Uruk from Team Not Meta is a really interesting hammer design, which you don't see too much of in the Antweights, since it's hard to make a hammer long enough to really get enough force to hit things. But they've managed it. Team Not Meta always have some of the most interesting designs, but they very rarely enter tournaments. I think this is only their second tournament. They brought a fun bot in this one. Obviously we have Team Archaon with Slant, the winningest team in Besiege bots, so they'll be looking to try and get another crown after finishing runner-up and third in 2 separate brackets for Spring Bash Cup. Meanwhile, and then we also have Team Night Slash. Don't usually do too well in tournaments, but fun fact about Plaguebearer here is that Plaguebearer is actually one of Team Night Slash's IRL robots. They do build robots IRL, and Plaguebearer is one of them. I believe it's a Beetleweight IRL? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so just a little fun fact about that. We do have a few builders in the community who build IRL bots. United Lunch Alliance are another team that do it. Slant really taking control early. Uruk is trying to hit things, but just is having a lot of trouble so far. Oh, and Uruk Udas itself by trying to hit Slant. That's unfortunate. So that's going to be it for Uruk. It's going to come down to Slant and Plaguebearer here as Slant gets a nice flip. This is going to be quite hard for Team Night Slash. Their wedge is not nearly as good as Slant's, and they're really going to struggle to outmaneuver, especially with skilled driving like Team Archaon have. As you can see, they just keep getting under and finding the flips. Oh, there's a big flip there. You can see Slant like tips its whole self foot. Ooh. Oh, they almost threw the Plaguebearer on that flip. They tossed them across the arena. Juggling Plaguebearer, almost reminiscent of their fight against Outcast Robotics in the Bluebird Zap matchup. They almost get a pit there. This is really dominant from Team Archaon so far. We'll see if Team Night Slash can try and find some control and maybe even a pit if they're lucky. There's another big flip there from Slant. It's going to be hard to stop Team Archaon in this tournament, I think. This is just a classic Team Archaon control bot. It maneuvers well, the driving is on point, and it flips pretty well for an Antweight. This is probably one of the more powerful flippers in the competition, actually, up there with like Stratos and Sheriff, which I think are the other 2 most powerful flippers so far that we've seen. Or maybe Wheelie Small Cheese as well. But Wheelie Small Cheese does have to get very far under other bots to get a good flip. Just really dominant from Slant. Plaguebearer self-rights there. Looked like it was having a little bit of trouble. Maybe the wheels weren't getting traction properly, I'm not sure. We're coming up on the final seconds of this fight, and I think it's going to be a pretty clear decision to Slant. And we'll see how the judge scored it. Yep, Slant wins on every category except damage, because Uruk booted itself so it didn't get the damage points. So that means Slant moves on to the round of 16, while Plaguebearer and Uruk move into the redemption round. That's it for this episode. Our 4 bots heading into the round of 16 are Oops, Stratos, Wheelie Small Cheese, and Slant. Meanwhile, dropping into the redemption round are Explosivo, Fatman, Bullrust, Yep It's a Gun, Penumbra, Sheriff, Plaguebearer, and Uruk. In the next episode, we will begin the redemption round. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. If you're interested in joining our community, follow the Discord link in the description. From everyone in the Besiege Pods Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.